What's up? Third time's the charm. Whole bunch of people are healing the teenager within. That's what's going on. So, part of getting the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail, authentic self-love, is healing the teenager within. And so, Spirit just told me to explain why I switched schools right in the middle of high school. So, I went to a private Catholic school called Benilde St. Margaret's for 9th, 10th, and half of 11th grade. And then I transferred to public school, Osseo Senior High, the second half of 11th grade and 12th grade. So when I went to Benilde St. Margaret's, I went with a lot of people. Now that's a private Catholic school. And I went with a lot of people who were very indoctrinated into the Catholic religion. Obviously, it's a Catholic school. The reason I went there is because my parents knew I was intelligent. I was a bit of a wild child. I never got in trouble. I was never disrespectful or rude. But always needed to be, I enjoyed learning, that kind of stuff. So my friends that I had made and I went to Hopkins North Junior High for 7th and 8th grade. And these girls that I had become close to, they would go to Catholic school until 6th grade, to a Catholic elementary school. And then there was these 2 weird years where there was no Catholic 7th or 8th grade at the time. And then they'd go on to Benilde, to Catholic high school. And so they went to Hopkins North Junior High. And that's where I was going. And I became real close friends with them. And then my mother had attended Catholic high school. And so I had asked my parents, can I go to Benilde? And my parents are like, perfect. This is perfect for what we need for you. So that's how I ended up going to Benilde. But my family was not super Catholic. I ended up being a have-not amongst a bunch of haves. So a lot of the children that went there to Benilde were wealthy kids. And I was not. And so and like lots of private schools do, you are given an opportunity to work off your tuition, which is horrid to do to students. Yeah, this is the slave student who stays after and vacuums the lunchroom area in front of all the rich kids. Yeah, I had to do that. And my rich kid friends all knew I had to do that. And I only remember one girl who didn't have to clean, helped me clean. My friend Terry at the time. I remember her coming in once and helping me clean. And I thought, this is a really kind act of friendship to help the slave girl clean up the room so she can leave earlier. And I'll forever have a soft spot in my heart for that girl who was my friend back then, because she didn't have to do that. But none of the other girls helped me, no. Then our history teacher got busted for pedophilia. It's true. That school has a problem with pedophilia. Now, I'm not making broad statements where people are like, no, this has been on the news. Every 5 to 10 years, that school has a problem with pedophiles. Why is that? Because private schools, their teachers don't need to have a teaching license. They don't they're not required to have background checks. They're a private school. So, for example, Ridgefield Public School, where I sent both my kids, and my daughter still goes to this school system. Every one of those teachers there in the public school have had to earn a teaching license. They've had to get a background check on them to make sure they're not a pervert or a pedophile. Private schools don't need to do that. And I don't have to pay, I believe, let's see, Benilde St. Margaret's tuition. I don't need to pay my school. Senior high is $17,895 a year to send your child to Benilde St. Margaret's. All right, so, and the junior high is $14,825 per year to send your child to BSM for junior high. $17,350 a year. It's business. This is all a business in the name of God. So let's type in Benilde St. Margaret's sex scandal. September 13th, 2018, Benilde St. Margaret's tennis coach arrested, fired after Rust is facing charges including using a computer to facilitate a child's sex crime. That was the tennis coach. Okay, let's see another one. All right, here's another one. Open link in new tab. Benilde St. Margaret's teacher dismissed. This was on September 5th, 2013. A Benilde St. Margaret's school teacher has been fired after the school says he had inappropriate communications with his students. School president Bob Tift named John Hickman in the email as a senior high engineering teacher, and that he has been dismissed from his employment effective Tuesday. Mr. Hickman had inappropriate communications with BSM students, wrote Tift. We understand that Mr. Hickman has had interactions with BSM students through non-teaching activities. Any such activities, including senior photographs or artistic modeling, are not connected with or endorsed by BSM. President Tift would not go into much detail about what happened, but did confirm Hickman's dismissal and confirmed some of the details as to why. There have been inappropriate communications, and that was the gist of what we sent out. Okay, that happened in 2013. Archdiocese needs $40 million for sex abuse settlement. Here's where it's looking. The Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis is crafting a plan that leads on budget cuts, property sales, and the generosity of Catholics. Yeah, they're counting on the generosity of Catholics to help pay off the pedophile fees, because they all belong to the same club called Catholic. And the generosity of Catholics to help the church emerge from bankruptcy and move beyond clergy sex abuse scandal that has plagued it for years. The Archdiocese has committed to pay $40 million of the historic $210 million settlement with clergy abuse survivors that isn't covered by insurance. Well, let's see. Officials on Friday shared the basis of their proposed payment plan with NPR News, blah, blah, blah. While the numbers might shift, it's clear the Twin Cities Catholics will be paying for the sins of the church for years. The plan includes $5 million paid out from the Archdiocese over 5 years, $4 million from the from 3 prominent Twin Cities Catholic high schools, da-ding, ding, ding, and 3 million voluntary contribution from the nearly 200 Twin Cities parishes that operate under the Archdiocese. That's on top of nearly $9 million raised already in land and asset sales. The Archdiocese also plans to tap money sitting in a fund used to pay healthcare costs for its employees. Well, what in the world? Fast forward. The Archdiocese has already sold $8.8 million in assets. It's also, ding, it's also selling the property of 3 Twin Cities Catholic high schools, Benilde St. Margaret's in St. Louis Park, Totino Grace in Fridley, and De La Salle in Minneapolis, to each respective school for a total price of $4 million. It isn't certain how the schools will finance the cost. Officials with Benilde and De La Salle did not return calls seeking comment. Craig Junker, president of Totino Grace, responded but declined to comment. Then here's a pie of how they're going to pay off the pedophile fees. Cost $17,000 to send your kid to that school, Benilde St. Margaret's. I used to go there. So when I went there, yeah, they also had a problem in the 80s too, where a priest got busted diddling some other kids, some other place. What'd the Catholic Church do in the 80s? They said, send him to Benilde. Yeah, he just got transferred over to Minnesota to Benilde. Then when I went there, and it was either 91, 92, the history teacher got canned. Why? Oh my God, did you hear? This is what happened back then. This is what we were all talking about. Did you hear? He was the coach for the baseball team and the girls' softball, too. One of the, popular dudes, the senior popular dude, came forward to the other deans of the school with his parents, I believe, and said, I'm finally coming forward. The history teacher touches my butt in the shower, and I don't like it. What? We were all, what? And then guess what happened? Other boys from the baseball team said, another boy said, I went up to him and I said, I can't afford the tuition. He said, we can make a deal with a video camera. What? Other boys came forward. Yeah, no, he touched my butt too. Yeah, all of a sudden he's canned. And we come in, and he's been replaced with a younger dude. We walk into our history room. There's a whole Pink Floyd The Wall poster hanging on the wall, a giant one. We're like, forget the pedophile history teacher. Who's this dude? Oh my God. We have Pink Floyd The Wall hanging on our fucking wall. Oh my God. That's all they did with us. I never got interviewed by anyone. So I can only imagine when I decided to transfer, all the gossipy that was going on. Why did Molly leave? I left because I was tired of hearing my mother complain about how expensive my school was. I left because there was these group of boys, 2 in particular, that would corner you in the library and feel you up. I didn't like how that felt. Everything was kind of scuzzy. All with a big giant Jesus in the hallway. And then when that Me Too movement came about, I did this post on Facebook, a temporary post, and some other where I talked about that library. And some other girl said, me too, that went to school with me. That school still has. Those are only a couple examples. Yeah, let's see. N.Node, St. Margaret's. So when I went there, they were known for a big hockey. They were a hockey school. So they had this business scam that they would do, or I don't know if it's, I'm sure it's legal. If you got a hockey kid coming in from Shattuck in Canada, anywhere where you've invested all this money in your up-and-coming hockey player, they transfer in the junior year to N.Node, because that's when all the hockey scouts come out looking for hockey players out of N.Node. And then if your kid don't get picked up by a scout, it was so common, there was a term when I went there, it was called a super senior. No matter what your kid's grades were, they'd fail your kid again, so they'd do another year at N.Node. Get another chance to get picked up by a hockey scout. They're called super seniors. So your kid that you've invested to this day, get like $100,000 in their up-and-coming hockey career, whatever. Hockey's pretty expensive. And your kid didn't get picked up by a scout, that school used to say, no problem. Yeah, we'll just fail them and have them do senior year again. We all call them super seniors. Hockey kids. Yeah, I was over that. That didn't seem very Christ-like. All that was going on there didn't seem very Christ-like. So I didn't have to run away because I had been molested by the teacher who was molesting kids. No, I didn't get molested by him. I wasn't pregnant. No, I was just sick of this overpriced school where I was a have-not around a bunch of haves. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some really great people that came out of that school. Really great people. But if they would critically think, they would say, yeah, that's right. All of that really happened. That's why I don't send my children to private schools to this day. A private school teacher doesn't need to have a teaching license. The private school doesn't need to do a background check. So, for example, this high school that I went to was well known for their sports. So, tennis coach. We need a good tennis coach. This guy is really well known for tennis. Yeah, we're going to hire him. And you can teach history, tennis coach. Yeah, but we really want a tennis coach. Well, then tennis coach gets fired for being a fucking perv. Yeah, he has no business being a history teacher or a tennis coach. But it's all about the business of it. So, yeah, and how ironic is it that I go to BSM and some chicks were busy ripping me off so they could send their fucking kids to BSM? Pedophile school. So yeah, let's listen to some more. N.Node St. Margaret's pedophile. September 9th, 2020, written by the Star Tribune. Priest accused of child sex abuse was allowed at Minnesota Catholic music camp. Isaac Henson was monitoring recent reports of sexual misconduct by Twin Cities Catholic music composer David Haas when he ran across disturbing information about adult leader at the summer music program run by Haas at St. Catherine University. Let's see. Here it is. He also taught at Benilde St. Margaret's School in St. Louis Park and was composer in residence at St. Paul Seminary. Let's hear more. Benilde St. Margaret's tennis coach fired. It was the baseball coach fired when I went there. So there's if you're interested, you will find it, because this school has a problem with pedophilia, inappropriateness with teachers and their students, and it costs over $17,000 a year to send your child there into the lion's den. Why do people still do it? Well, because their dad and mom went there, and they went there, and nothing happened to them. But things happen at that school. Yeah, well, it's got a good reputation, got a good name. Like, what in the world? Now think. Let's do it. I need a calculator, because with my spectruminess, I have a block of numbers. So let's do $17,000. And if you have more than one kid, oh my God, times 4 years. That's $68,000 you've given to that pedophile school. Who can't get a hold. Now, can you imagine if Richfield Public School consistently every 5 to 10 years had a problem with pedophilia? It would be all over, everywhere. Now imagine if you took $68,000 and did anything else with it in a bank account for your child, and when they graduated, you could say, here's $68,000. That's not even including, what was it, $15,000 for the junior high? My son went to Ridgefield High School. Gifted. He was always in gifted classes. He now goes to the University of Minnesota. He's made it on the dean's list. He's a teacher's aide for a job. He also works for a video game studio that he's been working for since he was in middle school. They run the game SCP Secret Laboratory. He's one of the main dudes that help make that site work. And I haven't paid at all for his education. He's been taught by teachers that have actual teaching license, that have had background checks. To this day, since my children have been going there, there's never been, that I know of, any inappropriate teacher with students issues within that school. And I didn't have to spend $68,000. But my kid was safe the whole fucking time. And he's a productive member of society. He made the dean's list last year at the U. He just joined the rocket team at the University of Minnesota, which has a competitive rocket team apparently. And they have consistently won year after year against other colleges or something like that. I don't really know much about it. And I've never paid his way through high school. My son's father, who I'm not with, and myself all split my son's tuition, so he is not in debt. That's how I chose to raise my kid. And I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of him. And that's why I left my private Catholic school. All right. Oh, and to this day, I'm 50 years old now. I still get hit up by junk mail. I don't know how they've even found me, but N.Node St. Margaret's alumni. Remember, yeah, we all had to sell calendars on top of it. You got to sell at least 5 calendars for $25 a piece, or else it gets tacked onto your tuition. I still have. Will you make a donation to N.Node St. Margaret's as an alumni? Requests to me. I say, fuck no. Please take me off your list. That's what I say. I don't say fuck no. I say, please take me off your list. There's a message.